And that's something that's been wrong with Halo, blatantly wrong.
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
I still have like nightmares of Halo 2 where Sarge would be sitting there and only half of his mouth would be moving because apparently this cigar in his right half inhibited the whole left half, the whole right half of his face.
There was like definitely some graphical incongruities. Like you look at Halo 3, the character like Master Chief, the Arbiter, the main characters, they look great, but then all of a sudden you cut to the Marines or something, and then you're like, wait, what? Like,
yeah, it looked like garbage.
What's wrong with your face?
But going beyond the graphics, what really is drawing me in is all the different gameplay and new things that they're throwing in. Like they announced 2 or maybe even more new weapons, but the DMR, which is sort of like a mix between the battle rifle and like a sniper rifle. It's some sort of like a middle ground.
It's like a one-shot, like powerful.
Yeah, it's
like
not like
semi-automatic.
It's not quite as strong as like the sniper rifle, but it's not the same thing that you get with the battle rifle either. And then the Needler rifle, and you gotta love the Needler.
I love that. Dual-wielding Needlers in Halo 2 was where it was at.
Yeah, I think in Halo 3 they actually even made it better, even though they only had one Needler.
Of course, us on PC, I don't know how hard it is to make a freaking Halo game. You're Microsoft, for the love of God, port to the PC. You're on the Halo Reach, you're on the last game. We're still playing Halo 2, and most of us are still playing Halo 1 because Halo 2 sucked.
Yeah. So, Needler rifle. Armor abilities, this could actually be really interesting. Instead of going for the whole, like deployable cover and, like, bubble shield, like, equipment that you would pick up in Halo 3, you're actually going to customize the way your armor's set up, so you can have, like, maybe your armor set up to do sprinting, or maybe your armor set up to, like, do a different special ability. It's, like, an extra level of customization that, the previous games didn't have.
You know what I love about Halo? Notice how, like, every game they have their new catch. Like, the first game was regenerating shield, the second game was dual wielding. With Halo 3, it was bubble shielding and all of that, business. Yeah, and then ODST was about the ODSTs, and then we go to this one, and it's all about this armor customization. I like how Halo, every game that comes out, this is what makes Halo great. They always come out with something new, and even if it's not the greatest thing ever, okay, armor customization, whatever. Okay, there's been armor customization in games before, but they do it in their own way. Yeah. And that's what makes it awesome. They're using Halo items like active camo and some kind of sprinting thing, whatever. That's awesome, and now they're incorporating some new gameplay elements like stealth kills. And this is what makes Halo awesome. This is why Halo's successful.
Well, I'm eager to see like this new direction that they say they're going in. This one's going to be more squad-based. You don't play as Master Chief. A little disappointing for me, considering
this 4 Master Chiefs.
Because this is
screw Matt.
This is Bungie's last Halo game, so I don't know, but I have faith in them.
The game's gonna be darker.
Yeah.
They said it's gonna take a much darker element.
Spoiler: Reach is gonna fall.
Yeah,
we all know that, but how it happens is really
not even a spoiler. Yeah. They just told you that in the first game.
Exactly.
It's the first line.
Prologue. You know what's gonna happen, but the fun part is finding out how that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Shakespeare.
Yeah. Like the squad-based combat that they're pushing, I really wonder how that's going to work out. And like they've really overhauled the engine so that they can support all these like epic battles that the previous games.
Up to 40 enemies AI.
Yeah, like that's going to be pretty awesome. And then
to me that sounds like a number that's going to be doubled like in the next year. But still thinking about fighting 6 elites, brutes, and grunts and all this stuff like 40. That's a meaty number for Halo. Plus vehicles, It's nuts.
I really like the direction they're going as far as the campaign goes because, like, Halo Combat Evolved, from a campaign single-player perspective, was easily my favorite iteration of the franchise. It really was what paved the way for the other games to follow, because if it wasn't so good, the other ones wouldn't really have come. The multiplayer obviously had a big role as well, but it was just, that's probably, one of my favorite games of all time.
Between that storyline and then Xbox Live on Halo 2, this is defining Halo.
Yeah,
and this is defining what shooters are becoming.
You're taking, you're moving back in that direction. You have the similar health system. You're focusing. The elites are the main bad guys, and the Covenant.
About time.
The Covenant. Yeah, I know. Seriously, I was getting a little fed up with the brutes. Like the Covenant at the early stages of the war were much more mysterious, much more hostile. They weren't, like the grunts running around, like, oh, like, what's going on, like, whatever. Like, you were actually
Yeah.
afraid of the elites and stuff. Like,
And this is something you could see Bungie regrets. Like, you could see, like, they kind of regret making the grunts like these, like, quirky characters that are funny.
I mean, the grunts were always designed to be a little bit quirky, but, like, the elites especially, they totally changed from being, like, that fearsome enemy that also had a recharging shield to just be, followers of the Arbiter and, like, all this stuff, and they, like, talk and everything. Like, that wasn't the way it was like in Halo 1. Like, you were fighting a war against a alien species that was hell-bent on your, like, destruction.
Yeah, they seem more, like, mechanical and cold, whereas, like, once they start speaking, they kind of, you felt like there was a heart there now. It's like, oh, you're not that bad.
So I'm really interested in seeing how the campaign's going to turn out. Obviously, I'm pumped for the multiplayer. May 3rd, I'm going to be on that, probably, like, shut out all the other aspects of my life just so I can play that. But,
take a week off.
Don't go to school, don't go to work, don't eat, don't sleep.
Definitely my most anticipated game of 2010.
The thing that really impresses me is just the way they're redoing this engine, and I was blown away. I was reading about it, and I was talking about the engine and the things they're going to try to do. In Halo 3, you may have noticed, like, the lasers that we shot. There was some dynamic lighting effects, which basically means a lot of moving light when you shoot a laser. They had about 4 or so dynamic lights going on when you shot, were shooting your guns and things like that. In Halo Reach, we're talking 20 to 40 dynamic lights at a time, which is going to be, there's going to be a lot of night missions. Apparently, I heard a lot about some night missions, and I imagine, like, the lasers and the dynamic lighting, that's going to be insane.
I mean, they're pushing the engine so far that, Reach is such a, foreign environment that we've never really explored in, a Halo game. And they're actually pushing that, Reach itself, the planet, will, like, completely change the way the environment, seems for a Halo game, and I'm interested in seeing how that turns out as well.
Yeah, and especially when we're picking most anticipated games of 2010, we've got to pick games that are pushing the limits. Something that's really stepping up to the plate and saying, I'm going to define 2010 right now. And Halo Reach is going to do more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, even more on the engine. We're talking hundreds of particle effects when you're driving the Warthogs around, and you want to, drive it over concrete and stuff. I was reading about some people that saw the demo. There's all kinds of particle effects that are being added to the wheels and things like that. We're also going to see something called variable gate bending, which is, you ever notice when you're playing an RPG and you up your speed of your character running, and then I especially see this in indie games, but you have your character and he's running in the same animation, but he's moving faster. It doesn't make any sense, like how you're running. Well, here they're going to use this thing where they actually speed up and slow down the animation.
And they have motion capture this time.
And motion capture, for a lot of their. So this is going to be probably stunning visually. And of course, this variable gate bending also works when we're talking about. You ever see someone who's just turning around in circles, just like pivoting around behind them and finding out things like. Looking around behind them and turning around in a circle. Well, you just kind of spin on their foot. Well, here we're going to have actual animation for how they're turning and how they're moving their feet around, which sounds very subtle, but I think, especially in the online, if that can nail it without lag, it'll look nuts.
I mean, I'm glad that they're doing all these great things to push the visuals, but ultimately it comes down to that great Halo gameplay that I fell in love with, and if they can nail that, which I'm pretty confident they will, I'm going to have a hell of a time playing.
Absolutely. Even more so, we see things like atmospheric perspective being used on the maps, which is something Halo's been known for its awesome environments, and especially they're trying to talk about portraying Halo Reach as a planet, portraying Reach as its own element, as its own awesome, and they're going to try to show a lot of things like things further away from you look like they'll actually be further away, things close up to you will look insanely detailed, even things as simple as the sky. A lot of times when you design a level, you'll do all your stuff on the ground and everything the player's going to see. But the sky just becomes this painted surface. It's kind of will dome and cover the top of the level. But here they're going to have a whole drop of the sky, and it's going to be fully animated and fully set up. So when something's coming down from you from the sky, it'll actually go through clouds and through the entire environment down to you, as opposed to being spawned up at random somewhere you probably wouldn't notice it, and then it will come down, and by the time you see it, it'll be right there. No, it's actually going to happen, slowly coming down. And especially if that goes into the online, and you see banshees coming out of clouds, and you can actually hide up in the sky. Wow, that'll be
They're really pushing that. You're gonna have like an epic battle sequence and like epic, moments, and I really look forward to seeing them.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking this game is pushing Halo's limits.
Alright, well, for me,